Syarikat teknologi global Zoho Corporation berikrar untuk menyediakan lebih daripada 44 juta ringgit dalam bentuk kredit Zoho Wallet bagi menyokong 4,400 startup Malaysia sebagai sebahagian daripada kerjasama strategik dengan Cradle Fund Sdn Bhd. Melalui kerjasama ini, Zoho akan memperluaskan program Zoho for Startups melalui platform MYStartup Cradle, sebuah hub bersepadu yang membantu pengasas startup di pelbagai peringkat perjalanan mereka. Dan Malaysia menjadi negara Asia kedua yang mendapat akses kepada program ini selaras dengan misi global Zoho untuk melengkapkan startup dengan alat dan sumber yang diperlukan untuk melancarkan dan mengembangkan usaha mereka. Kerjasama ini bertujuan untuk memperkukuh ekosistem startup Malaysia dengan menyediakan akses kepada suite aplikasi perniagaan Zoho yang komprehensif dan memupuk inovasi di kalangan syarikat peringkat awal. Setentu kita akan bersama dengan tetamu dalam talian untuk bantu kita fahami apa lagi ekosistem untuk kita memastikan dapat membentuk sesuatu lanskap ataupun ekosistem startup ataupun syarikat awali dalam keadaan yang lebih baik. Kita mempersilakan tetamu sudah bersedia dalam talian adalah RM44, co-founder of Scale Up Malaysia and Remote Ventures. I want to say thank you very much for joining me, RM. While 44 billion ringgit in Zoho Wallet credits is a generous move, the bigger question is whether Malaysian startups are being equipped to build sustainable, innovative businesses or just being onboarded into a tech stack. Are we solving the root challenges like market access, funding gaps, talent shortage, and regulatory hurdles? Please, Aaron.
Hey, good morning, Nina. It's been a while since I've been with you, and really good to talk about this topic as well. I think it's really commendable that Cradle Fund has, through the MYStartup program, has brought in Zoho. They've put in $44 million worth of credits that they're willing to give to the ecosystem. This sounds like a really, really positive initiative and a welcome one for sure. But I think your underlying question is actually quite valid, right? Are we really addressing the key issues within the ecosystem? I think this is a piece of it, ensuring that startups have the tools to kind of get from 0 to 1, the right kind of partners with a certain quality of service so that they can serve their customers better. But I think, one of the things we should focus on and we should continue to kind of build on is ensuring that startups, first of all, solve real problems in the marketplace. And also, one of the things that we're looking for is startups who can address the current environment, right? What are the industries that need to be disrupted? How are they kind of dealing with the current market trends and addressing that in a wholesome way? How are they looking at AI and how are they adopting that into their own businesses? I think it's very important for us to kind of acknowledge that there's a bit more than just taking a tool, even though I do think that tool is a good idea. And the underlying issues that you raised also are pretty true. How can we help them with market access? How can we fill funding gaps? How can we help talent shortages? And how can we ensure regulation is reduced so they can go to market as quickly as possible?
And relying heavily on one global tech provider, even with good intentions, raises questions about digital sovereignty. Are we fostering true tech independence and innovation within Malaysia, or creating a startup culture dependent on foreign software and frameworks?
Yeah, I think I'll start by saying the world is such that you can't purely build a truly Malaysian product or a truly local product that only exists in one market. Every startup and any technology firm out there uses multiple tools from all over the world, regardless of where it's from, to help build their business. So I think this is something that is unavoidable, and you have to do it as you build your company. But I do think the key here is not to adopt new solutions as kind of consumers almost, right? The startups can't be consumers of these technologies. They need to be creators, and we need to kind of help our startups kind of build creative solutions on top of this tool stack or this tech stack. That's where true sovereignty really is. How can we help our entrepreneurs build new solutions that the world uses in return, not just consume products that the world has for us to take?
And with such initiatives often promoted via digital platforms in elite startup circles, how inclusive is this outreach? Underrepresented founders of rural startups or non-tech sectors being equally engaged, or is this benefiting only the top 10% that are already in the ecosystem?
I think, Nina, we've spoken about this before as well, right? I think one of the major important points for me is that the Malaysian startup ecosystem cannot just be refined to Kuala Lumpur and Penang. We need to look at entrepreneurs all over the country. I've seen really good entrepreneurs all the way in Sabah who are building really good innovations, some really good talent in Johor as well. How do we engage them, and how do we ensure that they can capitalize on these resources? I think this is something that MYStartup really needs to look into, right? Ensuring that this is not an offering just for a certain group of elite kind of startup entrepreneurs who happen to be within the Klang Valley area or maybe in Penang, but how can we reach entrepreneurs wherever they are so that they can build their businesses as well? So yeah, I think ultimately we need to make sure that this is a metric we track. We should ensure that we look at entrepreneurs wherever they are and find a way to reach them. The key is distribution, right? A lot of these are distributed through the venture capital networks, accelerator networks, local agencies. But the most important thing is to make sure that we keep a good ledger of where and who receives these benefits, so that we ensure that the broad swath of Malaysian entrepreneurs receive benefits like this and are able to build their companies.
And definitely we need the right funds, the right partners to move forward into achieving every of our goals. With 4,400 startups set to benefit, the questions become, how do we measure success? Is it in usage rates of Zoho apps, or in how many of these startups actually survive, scale, and really create jobs within Malaysia?
So I think what's most important to me is, and we're talking about Zoho as a specific CRM tool, but what's more important to me is that we want to see the startup ecosystem flourish. And the metrics I look at, and I'm very kind of animated on, because within Scale Up Malaysia and even Remote Ventures, we work in very early stage circles. And I see founders who are coming out with ideas all the time. But one thing I am concerned about is that we're not seeing enough early stage founders. There seems to be a bit of a drying out, not enough new entrepreneurs coming into the ecosystem, trying new ideas. So my hope is that initiatives like this spur more people to say, hey, I'm getting credits. It's almost a lesser cost to me. Can I maybe start something tomorrow? Because it's de-risked to a degree. How can I create ventures quickly, and how can I get to market fast? So I think for me, the first metric is, are we creating enough volume of new entrepreneurs and new startups? Because when you create the volume of startups, the quality tends to rise at the top, and great venture capital firms and investors and even agencies can invest or give grants to those companies and help grow the ecosystem. This improves the talent base of the country, and this actually ensures that we have a good, healthy pattern of companies that can kind of grow through the ranks in the startup ecosystem. The other thing I'm looking for is how much creativity and how much new innovation is coming out of Malaysia. Are we simply just doing derivative ideas from other parts of the world, and are we adding a local flair? Not that it's wrong, but I think it's important to add that local aspect of the local market knowledge and market adaptation into our innovation. So how much new innovation is coming out of Malaysia? And how much of that innovation can be exported to other countries? I think once we think in this frame, we will be able to track these metrics and these success ratios a bit better, beyond just how many companies there are, or how much money is raised. Because I think these are maybe second order effects. We need to improve the funnel. We need to help create innovation, and we need to export our services to other countries.
And definitely we need more opportunities and ways to create more entrepreneurs, startups, as building the right volume, so we can attract more businessmen, businesswomen. But also in the context global, probably something of the things that Malaysia can learn from other countries, probably from advanced economies, as they have more funding, they have more structure, infrastructure, and including more resources for them to build the whole ecosystem with all the needed aspect for every country. But how can Malaysia learn from other countries, especially, or adapt and integrate within our local context in building a more practical startup ecosystem?
So I think Malaysia has an interesting opportunity right now, right? Because of the way the world is progressing, some of the macro issues with regards to trade, I think plays a huge factor in things that can be innovated and things that can be kind of impacted. The thing that's going for us really well right now is the whole world is looking at Southeast Asia as a great market. So we talk to business owners from all over the region, all over the world, and they see like Southeast Asia is a really, really attractive market for them to do business. And I think Malaysia is in pole position to be the launch pad of many startups. I know for a fact that there are trade missions coming from different parts of Europe, even the US and China coming to Malaysia to explore Malaysia as a bedrock to build their business. I think that's a great initiative, and that's something we should recognize, that people want to come here and build businesses. The second thing I think Malaysia has going for it is that I think AI now is changing the game. We are seeing that the whole composition of what it takes to build a startup and build a company is changing from a resource and cost aspect. So you can actually build a company with a much smaller team, much more effectively, and go to market much more quickly than you could before. And I've seen this happen before, like when we had cloud computing come up 15 years ago, people before that had to kind of build physical servers in the office. And then startups could, when they had cloud computing, they could build it within a couple of minutes using AWS or Google Cloud and launch a startup really quickly. And now we're seeing another version of that, where instead of having to kind of do it with a 10-man team to build a startup, you can see a 3-man team building a startup. And that's an opportunity for us, because now we can go to market really fast. We can actually get customers really quickly. So I think these are things that Malaysia can do. And I think the final thing is that our government really wants to make something happen. So let's really leverage that, invest in the right place, make some really important decisions about where we want to win. And I think we're in a good position to succeed if we really want to.
All right, well, there's a will, there's always a way, the phrase that we always use. I want to say thank you very much, Aaron Sharma, for helping us understand the whole ecosystem. How can Malaysia build a very conducive, inclusive ecosystem for all the startups? And what are the hidden gaps within the Malaysia startup ecosystem, from challenges, opportunities? What are some of the aspects that we can do better together moving forward? Again, thank you very much. And all of our discussion here will be featured in astro1.com across all social media platforms.